You have spent most of your time learning about the various anatomical and physiological responses to illnesses. You know what to assess and how to plan and intervene while working with a client. You interact with your client and the healthcare team, and at times you will encounter different cultural, social, and religious backgrounds. According to Harrington and Terry, being culturally knowledgeable, sensitive, and competent is imperative in the changing environment of nursing. After this lesson, you will be able to identify that the state identifies that cultural competency is an ongoing process. Be able to discuss how values, beliefs, and attitude affect the nurse-client relationship, and analyze how diversity impacts the nursing care planning process. Is there a single definition for culture? What do you think the definition of culture is? Anthropologists and educators define culture as a learned behavior acquired by individuals as members in a social group. The ANA defines culture as a broad conceptualization to encompass the belief systems of a variety of groups. Purnell and Palanca, 2008, define culture as totality of socially transmitted behavior patterns, arts, beliefs, values, customs, and lifeways, and all other products of human work, and this is through characteristics of a population that guide their world view and decision making. Each human society has a body of norms governing behavior and other knowledge to which an individual is socialized or enculturated, beginning at birth or at the time the individual becomes a member of the social group. There are many cultures and social groups known as subcultures that come together to form larger social groups known as the dominant culture. A subculture is defined as those individuals who have a distinct identity and yet are part of the larger cultural group. Culture is learned through socialization and is passed through heritage. An individual may or may not carry this luggage of heritage. Therefore, be careful not to stereotype based upon mispreconceived ideas about an individual's cultural beliefs or values. Customs are learned behaviors. Beliefs are opinions. Knowledge, faith, and values are a set of personal beliefs and attitudes about the truth, beauty, and worth of any thought, object, or behavior. So whose way of thinking, beliefs, and values are right? People naturally believe that their own way of viewing the world is the only right way. This narrow, one-sided view is called ethnocentrism. Stepping out of one's comfort zone to learn about another culture is the binary opposite of ethnocentrism, and it's called cultural relativism. It is a challenge to assess a client's uniqueness. We live in a multicultural society, and because it is impossible to know everything about all cultures, it is important that we continuously seek education to maintain cultural competence. What are your values, beliefs, and attitudes? Are there any that might interfere with the care you provide? Be honest with yourself. Recognizing your own cultural sensitivities can provide you with the opportunity to be aware and do not let your own values or beliefs coerce your client health care. The nurse's ongoing clarification of their own values foster a greater sensitivity to those of the client. How do you demonstrate cultural sensitivity? Some interventions are: be aware of how your ethnocentric tendencies color your world. Analyze your community for major cultural groups. Using the healthcare settings. Listen with a sensitive ear. Ask for help from the patient, family, or other healthcare worker if needed. Ask for in-services or continuing education regarding diversity. Apologize for making mistakes. This is a learning process. Use a wide-angle lens with observational skills. Speak slowly and try not to raise the voice tone. Avoid medical terminology and slang. Use gestures, pantomime, or pictures. Incorporate practices or ideas from the client's healthcare beliefs. Use the dominant family member or spiritual advisor for support if patient approves. Respect food preferences when possible and use a non-family, culturally similar interpreter. Today's healthcare system requires that the RNs be prepared to assume the management of care for large, diverse groups of clients while completing assigned tasks in a timely manner, delegating work to others, managing conflict, making wise decisions, and maintain safe environment for all clients. After we review this information, you will be able to describe strategies to manage time more effectively, discuss various contexts in which conflict occurs, identify the process for conflict resolution, list the steps in the decision-making process, compare the role of the RN to that of the LPN in decision-making, analyze the role of the nurse in managing a safe environment, and give examples of the LPN to RN role transition in managing client care. Time management is similar to the nursing process. It involves assessing current activities, establishing an estimated time for completion, planning and setting goals and priorities, and evaluating the results. Here is a table showing the comparisons. You will recognize that managing your time with respect to client care is dictated by the number of clients to whom you are assigned and the particular role you have for that day. Planning appropriately can provide you with good time management. Remember to maintain flexibility for challenges. You will have good days and bad days. This is the nature of nursing. As you move into the RN role, you will have little free time that is not dedicated to assessment, implementation, accomplishing interventions, and evaluating the results of those tasks. The success of time management can be accomplished through organizing and using time efficiently. Pareto principle in 2008 states 20% of effort spent on planning will lead to 80% results. Failing to plan leads to 80% of efforts only leading to 20% results. In nursing care, one shift never mirrors another, and careful planning is one of the best ways to maximize efficiency. At the beginning of a shift, take a few minutes to identify what needs to be done and develop a plan to meet these goals. It's important to estimate the amount of time it will take to meet these goals. Worksheets help to set priorities. Items to perform can be separated into the to do now, delegate, do later, do whenever, and don't do priorities, and you can color code priorities. One of the best ways to be effective is to know yourself. Some tips for personal effectiveness are: pay attention to basic human needs, plan frequently, take breaks, declutter and organize any work areas, find a quiet place without interruptions when doing paperwork, work as a team when possible, and delegate appropriately and handle paperwork only once. The last aspect of managing time is the ability to identify common time wasters that decrease efficiency and effectiveness. These common time wasters are interruptions, meetings, socializations, paperwork, perfectionism, procrastination, poor communication, and poor disorganization. Okay, let's review a few of these common time wasters. For instance, you may have to attend meetings. To avoid wasting time for your meetings, be on time, have all the information that you need in the meeting available, and decrease your socialization and focus on the agenda on hand. Another one, paperwork. Documentation is required in nursing. Attempt to handle paperwork one time. Use these methods and you can either file it, forward it, or respond to it, delegate it, or discard it. Time management is crucial as you make the transition from the LPN to the RN. Although you may naturally be good at keeping everything organized, you may have to acquire or improve your skills. Managing care for a group of clients requires that you are knowledgeable, flexible, thorough, responsible, and accountable. Take the time to assess your time management abilities and identify methods that will help you become skilled in this area. Conflict occurs when there is tension or disharmony between individuals or groups about ideas, values, or beliefs. Conflict can be disruptive and harmful when managing client care. Conflict should be viewed as an innovative process requiring creativity for positive outcomes when there is a difference in philosophy, values, beliefs, attitudes, and cultures. Nursing conflicts commonly have been identified as role conflicts, communication conflicts, goal conflicts, personality conflicts, and ethical or value conflicts. Resolving conflict within a healthcare setting is not easy, and it is a situation in which you may not want to participate. As you move into the RN role, it is imperative that you deal with conflict. Some individuals are selective with the type of conflicts they will engage, enjoying the challenge it represents, and then there are some that would avoid conflict. A common saying in nursing is, choose your battles wisely. Methods for dealing with conflict include accommodation, avoidance, competition, compromise, and collaboration. Your textbook, starting on page 351, provides a definition and examples for each of these conflict resolution tactics. According to the AACN, in 2005, they developed 6 standards for establishing and nurturing healthy work environments. These include skilled communication, true collaboration, effective decision-making, appropriate staffing, meaningful recognition, and authentic leadership. Choosing any of the conflict resolution methods will be determined by the situation, your comfort level, and your reaction to the conflict. Whenever one or more than one person interacts with another, there's a potential of conflict to occur. You have seen conflict and may have used strategies that have been discussed. Although each conflict is unique, there are standard strategies that can be used when resolving conflict. Using the nursing process approach, assess the problem first. Identify the issue and ask questions to clarify the scope of the problem. Once you have identified the conflict, quick planning for a successful outcome is priority. The emphasis on creating a win-win situation or collaborative solution is the ideal plan. Now here's the hard part. Focus on the issue. Do not get caught up in the emotions of the moment. Look for resolutions both parties can agree upon and implement the key steps for resolving the issues. Some conflict management strategies include focus on the issues, not the personalities, take responsibility for your part in the conflict, communicate openly, listen aggressively, seek to understand first and then be understood, move to a neutral private area. If aggressive behavior occurs, use assertiveness strategies and let intelligence and not emotion rule. The role of the RN as manager of client care is crucial in healthcare today. Your role as an RN is that of a decision maker, deciding who is qualified to provide a particular aspect of care, what will best preserve a client's dignity in the face of increased technology, and how to restore hope when fear and suffering threaten to overcome clients. Your role will be one of managing time in a cost-effective and efficient manner, resolving conflicts so that clients receive optimal care, problem solving, and ensuring the client environment is safe in all respects. This completes this lesson of Nurse as a Manager. If you have any questions related to this lesson content, please notify the instructor.